You're listening to On the Moans, where we have conversations about hormones, midlife, and the moments that make us wonder, is it just me? I'm Kate. I'm a 48-year-old pharmacist and newly minted perimenopausal oversharer. This is where we talk openly about the changes we aren't prepared for, so we never have to feel alone in them again. I acknowledge the Camaragal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of the land which I am recording today. I pay my respects to elders past and present, and I extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Here I am in a cafe in Glebe, and I'm with my two dear friends, Sue and Richard. Hi, thanks for being with me.
Hello, Kate. It's great to be here.
Richard and I are actually celebrating our 1-year anniversary, aren't we, Richard?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
With Sue. With Sue, third wheeling.
I think that's right.
It's quite unbelievable that there was a time where I didn't know you, Kate. It seems strange, doesn't
It's
it?
so nice to have been introduced to all your lovely friends.
Ah,
Yeah.
like Sue Yurachi.
Like Sue.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's interesting how we find like-minded people amongst our
Yeah.
cohort.
now, Sue, I saw you recently at Skeptics in the Pub where we had a very enjoyable talk about robots and artificial intelligence.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, is that where the sex robot comment came from?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't understand it.
that's right. That's a comment for another day. There was now, but we're here just having an informal get-together, just to catch up and see each other. But Kate, you said you had something
Well,
to spring upon us.
Well, no, I had an experience before I came and I didn't fully understand it. So I thought, what better way to unpack it than with you two clever minds? I'm in the nail salon, had my nails done.
Yeah.
I'm in the nail salon and it's quiet. So they didn't have anything on. There wasn't any music, or often they have the TV on showing some morning show, whatever, and it was completely quiet. And they're lovely Thai ladies who do it, but they're really quiet. And there was another lady in there getting her toes done, and she was on the phone in this completely silent room. So she's on the phone having a... So I now know a lot about this lady. I know that she's travelling to Hobart. I know there was a lot of discussion around whether or not she should upgrade to business using her Qantas frequent flyer points, or whether she should wait until you can bid. You know, they send you an email and you can bid as to whether, you know. Yep, and I know that Bill's coming to take off the kickboards, and hopefully they're going to have the kitchen renovated when they're away in September. And, you know, so there's very... like a normal conversation, but it's just a monologue when you're only hearing half of it.
Yeah.
And also, I guess I'm wondering, socially, like, so if you were talking to somebody else in this room, you'd put your heads together and you'd reduce your voice.
Yes.
Because you would understand that the room is quiet. She was speaking at quite, I would say, an outside voice volume. And it wasn't, like, she wasn't saying anything particularly bad, but then I was thinking, well, at what point do I have to be part of her conversation, A, and B, at what point does it become inappropriate? So what she's talking about, fine, but if she starts bitching about somebody else, is that okay? If she starts talking about some kind of horrible medical procedure that she's about to, you know, like, I'm putting it out there to the group.
Bit of oversharing, maybe.
What do we think?
Well, there's also the aspect about that is you're hearing half a conversation, which is jarring.
Well, yes, except that I think it went on for such a long time. I know all about it.
Well, on the train, I was on the train just the other day, and a call came in, and I spoke soft. You know, I was, I don't want to say embarrassed, but I just spoke very quietly and quickly, and I didn't say much because I didn't want to have a conversation in front of just...
So I think you've nailed it, Richard. You've spoken quietly and quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't think anybody's saying that you can't take a phone call in a public place.
But don't broadcast.
But I just wonder if that was I don't know, it's just... Because I also thought, I mean, I'm also sitting across from my lady. She's doing my nails. We're not having a conversation either particularly. I mean, we're not having a conversation. But I would feel rude to be on the phone for... I mean, I might say... oh, sorry, answer the phone to my children, say, yep, no, that's fine, and then hang it up. But I wouldn't sit there for the full 40 minutes on the phone whilst somebody else was doing... I don't know.
So what you're saying was, apart from you and your nail technician, her own nail technician was working on her while she completely ignored her and spoke to someone else.
I just felt like it was a little bit gross.
I think that's called being oblivious to other people's feelings.
But there are people like that. The other aspect of that is people who use their smartphones, like, you can't see this, the audience, but I'm just pretending I'm holding a smartphone in front of me, facing towards me.
And talk like this.
And put the other caller on speaker.
Yeah. So you can hear both sides.
Yeah,
and
well, that's a lot. And you can hear both sides.
I used to think, have people forgotten how to hold a phone up to their ear?
They don't want cancer.
They're worried about getting ear cancer and brain cancer. That's why those...
Oh, my goodness.
Those technologies developed, so you didn't have to hold your phone to your ear.
Well, that's interesting you should raise that, because that's still going on, the scam, which is phone patches. Now, the Australian skeptics have seen many of these over the years.
The ones that...
you stick this little sticker onto the back of your phone and it'll protect you from the blah, blah, blah. All of them have been nonsense, but they're still out there, and they've been out there for years. They come and go.
Yeah.
And there'll be a new so-called, air quotes, I'm doing, technology, usually with the word quantum.
Yeah.
Yes, and vibration. Frequency,
vibration, quantums.
Yes.
The other thing I think about in that situation is that you might go to that nail salon because you like the quiet, meditative atmosphere, which that woman's completely invaded.
Yes.
I guess some people, it doesn't cross their minds. They're simply taking a call, and that's that.
Yes, but that's strange, isn't it? To be completely
to
without...
you and me, yes. But I always, in the back of my mind, think that the population of the world is made up of many different people, and sometimes you encounter these different people who think and act differently, for whatever reason. And when you do encounter them, and if they're like people who don't realize that you don't do this, well, that's just the way they are, Maybe they can be educated. I don't know.
Look, maybe I'm not right. Maybe it's completely fine.
Well, I wouldn't do it. Now, Kate. The other week, you went to a conference. And we were chatting about this a couple of weeks ago when we had our last get-together over coffee. And listeners will remember that. We had Annie McCubbin and Dr. Angie there, you and I. And you were about to speak at a pharmacy convention, and I offered to come along and jeer and not jeer you, but
no, not jeer.
But jeer the other pharmacists who sell homeopathy. How did it go?
So sadly, they cut my time down. They cut everybody's time down, not just my time. But I ended up only speaking about my palliative care experience, so I didn't get to speak about...
How disappointing.
I know, it was a bit. But anyway, so it went really well, thanks for asking, but it was in no way controversial.
But Kate, I'm curious about the opinion of the pharmacy profession about homeopathy and woo as opposed to the pharmacy retailers groups.
So I've now got the Code of Ethics, the PSA's Code of Ethics, which is really quite... They've put it into pillars, so they've got this integrity pillar, and under the integrity pillar there's a whole bit about communicating truthfully and from an evidence-based point of view. And I was really looking at it going, okay, so how is everybody reconciling this with their actual shop? Yeah, I don't know. I don't own a shop, so
Have you been in forums where that conversation happens?
No. Well, no. Is TikTok a forum? No.
It just strikes me that pharmacy is one of those clinical professions that intersects with retail more than many others.
Well, it does, but I don't know why, except that I'm not sure if... I actually had this conversation with my dad, and he said, did you know that back in the 80s I was asked by Terry White to improve their business model? And he said he was the one who said, you should start selling a whole lot of stuff out the front of the shop. And I was like, oh my God, Dad!
And when you say Terry White, of course, Terry White is a chain of pharmacies in Australia. Was there an actual individual called Mr. Terry White?
I don't know. I assume so.
There probably was at the beginning.
Yes,
or
I
it just
assumed
sounds
it
like
was.
a good name for a brand,
It
I
doesn't
don't know.
though, does it?
I don't know.
No, I think he must have been Terry White back in the 70s maybe. I don't know.
We could look that up. I don't
Yeah,
know.
anyway.
That was,
The interesting thing for me with retail pharmacy is thinking about when I was a child, you used to go to the pharmacy for last minute gifts because the pharmacy was open extended hours and they would often sell small ornaments and cosmetics.
Yes.
And to me, there's no conflict there.
No conflict.
I'm happy for them to sell cosmetics.
Absolutely.
Because they're not
Gardening
claiming
tools.
any therapeutic
Yeah.
benefit.
Well,
So there's a whole new category when homeopathy and supplements are on the shelf.
yeah. Well,
Agree.
our American listeners, I suspect Canada too, are certainly familiar with the concept of a drugstore being a general store that happens to sell lots of medications and you can get your prescription. Because when I go into a pharmacy in the San Francisco, for example, it's everything. You can buy even booze, and your groceries and chips and whatever, and
Yeah.
pharmacy products. So that's what, but in Australia, traditionally it's more just pharmacy, but of course it's now more to do with magic, isn't it? Well,
Yeah.
you can find magic.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I think was it you? I thought it was you. I was saying to, could have been Annie. But I was saying I don't understand. I understand how they needed to diversify their business model because they weren't getting enough, maybe money just off the dispensary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. Again, not a shop owner. Well, couldn't they be a wine bar or a dress shop?
You
Or-
made this point when we
Yes.
had our last coffee
Yeah.
some weeks ago.
It doesn't have to be.
Why does it have to be woo? Why can't it be,
Yeah,
I
gardening
don't
tools.
know, origami earrings
Exactly.
or something
Exactly.
like that?
It could
yeah.
go back to that previous model that had lots of other products that weren't claimed to be therapeutic. It's just they boosted the retail aspect of
But
the
then again, I can see
shop.
why it's pretend medicine, because people go to a pharmacy for medication and
Yeah,
pharmaceutical
right.
products. So if there's something on
Yeah.
there that they're not told is magic
Yeah.
and it's pretending to be medicine,
Yeah.
they're more likely to buy it from a pharmacy, I suppose.
I think so. I think that's the whole borrowing authority from the dispensary part of the model that doesn't sit terribly well with me. I mean, a lady came in yesterday when I was in the shop and she just said, I just feel...
This is your pharmacy, right?
Oh,
Where you
just where I
work.
work. Yeah, it's not mine. It's just
Yeah.
where I work occasionally. And she said, I don't feel well. I've got a cold. My nose is running, and I just don't feel well. What can you give me to make me better? And I said, well, we can sort of deal with you piecemeal. I can give you some paracetamol for your fevers and some pseudoephedrine for your drippy nose. And she said, but what can you give me to actually make me better? I'm like, nothing. But I think she really wanted me to say, here, take this immunity booster.
Yes.
That
Right.
would have been, she would have taken that from me 1,000%. That's actually what she wanted. What she wanted was for me to say, if you swallow this many of these tablets, you will be cured.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that old joke that if you do nothing, the cold will last a week, but if you take this medicine, it'll be gone in only 7 days.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
I used to see it more, but I haven't seen it for a while, I don't think. The copper bracelets
Oh, yeah.
for rheumatism
Yeah.
or arthritis or something.
Yeah, they were popular a number of years ago. And you know what I find interesting about the marketing of those? That there's a Venn diagram between elderly people with arthritis and NRMA members who read the paper magazine. So if you flick through the NRMA magazine, there are two prominent ads for
Really?
that generation. There are collectibles, like
Yeah.
little ornaments that you supposedly keep forever and they
Yes.
cost a huge amount of money, except that everyone else has got one. And then there are the elderly arthritis cures, like the copper bracelets.
Well, I'm glad you brought that to my attention. For our international listeners, the NRMA is our motorist organisation.
Yes.
It's like the AA in the United States. If you break down, then you can
That's
call
right.
them. And that's. I'm glad you told me that. That might be worth a Bent Spoon nomination
It could be.
for next year.
Well, I think they've also upgraded now to amber bracelets. Aren't amber?
Ah,
Well, years ago there was amber teething
Yeah.
They're still around, the amber
necklaces.
teething necklaces,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
babies can conveniently choke on.
Can
when
choke
the-
on.
Yes,
when the
that's
string
right.
breaks.
Exactly.
So, Kate, let's reflect on your past year.
Oh.
What a year it's been, because when I discovered you, you were doing the TikToks. You had your TikTok channel and you had your Barbara O'Neill channel.
Yes, which I retired, that one.
And then, but since our meeting where I wrote this groveling letter to Kate, and I said, will you consent to an interview,
You didn't
please?
say that.
No. No, I said interview request.
Yeah,
and I thought
yeah.
maybe she will, I don't know. And she said yes. I thought,
Yeah.
oh great, how nice.
So it was done with informed consent?
Yes.
It was informed consent, and it was my year of saying yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah. Say yes. Try new things.
That noise you can hear in the background is the coffee being made in the coffee machine over there. Look at that, all the steam coming up.
Yeah.
Or a hot cup of
How
tea
was your
or
coffee?
something.
My coffee was lovely.
My coffee was good, yeah. Australia folks, Sydney, it's good coffee.
Yeah, we do.
We do coffee. But yeah, the past year, it's been a whirlwind for you because you've exploded into the world of podcasting, really, big time, haven't you? I mean, the knowledge you've gained and the number of episodes and the different topics you've covered, and now you're like me, you're replete with all sorts of recording things and whatnot.
I am. Yeah, it's great fun.
Yeah.
It's really great fun. It's really very enabling, I would say.
That's good to hear. Now, again, the listeners can't see this, but I'm sort of on one side of the table. Kate is on my right and Sue is on my left. It's a little square table, and they both have microphones pointed towards them. But Kate, I'm using the microphone on the device.
Yep.
So when you're doing your dinner times,
Yeah.
this might be something you can consider having.
Yeah.
The microphone facing you.
Yes, I was. No, I was looking at it. I don't have I see how yours is attached to a tripod.
Yeah.
I haven't quite got that kind of setup, but I could. That wouldn't be very hard.
No.
That's a whole new area of product to expand into.
Yes.
All
Tripods.
of the supporting structure.
That's it.
But you also are very prominent doing little video snippets on Facebook, TikTok, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you do stuff to camera,
Yeah.
and you have all sorts of things in the background, and I think you get a lot of, shall I say, hits, a lot of mileage out of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think people seem to enjoy the science-based content. Yeah. I mean, you're only ever speaking to a subset of people who, you can't please everybody. You really can't please everybody, so you should not try.
But there's also nothing wrong with speaking to a like-minded audience because you're equipping them with the answers to a lot of questions that they can then debunk misinformation when they hear it.
Well, I'm hoping that maybe I can be speaking to people who are maybe thoughtful or unsure. So not the people who already agree with me because they're easily won over.
The ones who are open to learning.
Yeah, the ones who are open to... I had a lady, again, in the shop yesterday, and she came in, she wanted liver powder. She came in asking for liver powder. And
Not
Is that
powdered
powder made of liver?
I was
or
just about to
powder
say,
for
not
the
powdered liver.
no, sorry, beg your pardon. Powdered liver. She wanted an iron supplement.
Oh.
Is what she wanted. But she
But she doesn't like eating liver.
She thought she doesn't like eating liver, and she thought she wanted powdered liver because it was more natural. And I was trying to find in the shop this stuff, and I couldn't. I didn't even know if we had it because I couldn't find it. And I said to her, "What are you trying to do? Like, what's your goal here?" And she said, "I need an iron supplement." And I said, "Well, how about this one?" Which has actually been manufactured and been tested. And been, we know the dose of, we know lots about this one. And she said, it's, I said, what makes you think you want powdered liver? And she said, it's natural. And I said, but can I just challenge you on why you think you want something more natural? Like, what's your process there? And she said, I don't know. I just thought it would be better because it's natural. And I said, okay, but is it okay? Can we keep talking about this? Because this is interesting to me that you have this. Anyway, in the end, she went, okay, and took the stuff off the shelf. I mean, I don't know, maybe that was just to get away from me. But but some people, I guess what I'm saying is some people are some people are open to the conversation. Other people, I guess you have to read the audience, don't
And
you?
the other important thing, Kate, is that you were open to having the discussion rather than just selling a product. So you were also in a retail environment that's not so pressured that you just hand things over and go on to the next person.
And also, I guess I've got, I have enough.
You have the confidence.
I have enough
and
confidence.
knowledge.
Yeah.
But
Whereas,
it must be frustrating for the young pharmacists who work in the supermarket type pharmacies to just churn over the retail store and not be a clinician.
I imagine though, do you think they even have anything to do with the front of shop? I imagine they sit right at the back and do no patient facing. Like I do a lot of chats walking from the dispensary to the till.
Yeah.
Have a lot of conversation on that walk. I don't know that they're doing any of that. I think they're doing take this box, put this sticker on it, hand it over.
That's what I observe when I'm there.
Yes.
In fact, people will often drop off their script or have an electronic script and go and do something else and come back when it's all done.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just get handed a little box to take to the cash
I've
register.
certainly done that. I've handed in my script and they said 5, 10, 20 minutes or whatever, and I wander around the shelves.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what are you going to do? I mean, I wander around the
Yeah,
shelves and
what are you
look
gonna do?
and laugh at the homeopathy.
Yeah.
And having worked with pharmacists clinically in an emergency department, I've seen how much better a role, more satisfying a role it is for them to give their clinical advice rather than just dispensing
course.
and putting stickers on boxes.
Actually, clever people.
That's right.
Well, mostly.
I believe that, Kate.
Yeah.
I believe that.
You're not only clever but have very highly specialised knowledge.
Yes, well, that's the thing.
Adds to healthcare.
If you back yourself to provide it in that setting.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, guys. That was so fun. Thanks for being the third wheel, Sue.
Oh, it was really fun and an interesting experience.
Yes.
Always a pleasure to see you again, Kate.
Yeah, let's do it again. We'll do it again when Richard and you're Richard. When Tim and Annie can be with us.
Yes, that'd be good fun.
Yeah. Yeah.